Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to make mossy, stone, cobbly text that you can use in your banners if you want like a kind of old style, cracked style Minecraft banner. So for this tutorial what you're going to need is a resource pack of choice, a copy of Photoshop, Cinema 4D. You're already going to need a banner, which you obviously can make, but the tutorial is not going to be focusing on that. And you're also going to need a Lightroom. So what we're going to do for this tutorial is open up Cinema 4D, open up our Lightroom. Now what you're going to do is go under MoGraph, MoText, and go under Object, and we're going to call it Tutorial. And what you're going to do is select it and change the font to Molot, which is the font we're going to be using. You just want a nice thick font for this. Now I'll make sure to leave that font in the description. So you're just going to change the depth up quite a bit. Now we're going to go under caps and add a fillet cap for start and end. Change both of these values to 2. Now what this is adding is a cap right here, which is making it look more smooth. Now we're going to be extracting the textures. So what we're going to do is go here, do %app data %. Then we're going to go to Minecraft and resource packs, and you are going to find your pack. Mine is already on the desktop right here, so you're going to open up the resource pack. You're going to need WinRAR for this too. I didn't mention that, but I'll make sure to leave that in the description. Go under Assets, Minecraft Textures, then Blocks, and then we're going to find Stone Brick. Now, I actually already had this. Now you're going to use Stone Brick Mossy. I actually already have it on my desktop, but I'll just place it. So you can also switch out stone brick for stone brick cracked or stone brick carved. It's really up to you, but for the sake of the tutorial we're going to be using stone brick and stone brick mossy. Now what we're going to do is create a new material by double clicking, opening up the material, go to texture, then go to your desktop and find the first texture, click yes. Change the sampling to none, which will make it not blurry, and turn off reflectance. Then what you're going to do is drag it onto the tutorial, and bam, there you go. Now what you're going to do is make another layer, open it up, go to texture, select your other texture, click yes, sampling to none, turn off reflectance. And you're going to close it. Now we're going to duplicate this, click on this one, go to Object, and call it Cinema 4D. So what we're going to do now is just put it below. Now it's up to you how you want to resize it, but for the sake of the tutorial what I'm going to do is go to Tutorial and just move it to the center, but you can play around with different sizes and stuff. We might actually make it a little smaller by dragging down on our size tool. Now what we're going to do is drag our mossy texture onto the top layer. So now we have this nice text, and we're gonna put on we're gonna put on grass and vines and rails to make it look more realistic. Now what you're gonna do is open up your model pack. So I'll be linking the model pack I'm using. Once you find the pack you're gonna be using, just open it up. Once you find the model pack you're going to be using, just open it up. Go under plants, and we're going to find wild grass, which is right here, and just drag it onto our project. And we're just going to leave this open over here, just so we have it. Now it will look blurry here, that's just the sampling. Once you render it out it'll look smooth. So we're going to select our layer. It's a good habit to select our layer, because we don't want to just drag one part of it. So select our layer. Once you select your layer, just drag it up. Feel free to resize it or rotate it to your needs, depending on how big your text is. So we're just gonna like this, and we're gonna just scale it down a little bit. Once you've gotten it to a position you like, just duplicate it and select it again and drag it out to the side. Now we're going to duplicate it one more time to finish this out. Now what we're going to do is add a vine to make it look a little more wild. So we're just going to find our vine and drag it on. Now we'll select our vine, drag it over, and we'll size it with the wall here. And then what we're going to do is drag it down and put it on one of these lower layers here. Now, this is the point in the text making process where you have to decide if you want to get the clip or the text photo from up here, or if you want to get it down from a lower angle. Now, for the sake of the tutorial, it looks better actually if we go like this. But it can look better depending what size you're using if you do it from an up position. So we're just going to be adding a rail for the sake of showing you how to do it, but we're not actually going to be using the rail and the down thing. And feel free to look around, add some more things, like flowers if you want, or like cocoa plants if you want. Those look cool. Let's do that actually. Let's add a brown mushroom. Alright, so now what we're going to be doing is going into our render settings and just setting everything up. So originally these are going to be 1s, you just want to change those to 2s so we get a better quality render. That's your output. Now you go under save and we're going to call it text tutorial, because obviously that's what we're going to call it, and we want to make sure the format is PNG and just close it. Find a position that looks nice, so we're going to be going under here, but you can go left or right. And also, I'm not going to be showing you how to do the rail because it's pretty self-explanatory. You just add a rail. You can find it under it's under mechanisms if you want to use it. It's just self-explanatory. Rotate it and put it on top. So we're going to find a position that works best. So make sure you figure out which angle looks best for the banner you're working on. And once you find a position that looks good, just render it out. I'll be with you in a second for the Photoshop portion. Alright, welcome back to the Adobe Photoshop part of the tutorial. So you can see I already have a banner here. It's already fully complete. It has lighting, it has both of the characters, it's fully color graded. So this banner is complete, and it's not my best work, but I think it looks good. So what you're going to do is drag in your text, and you're just going to scale it down or fit it to your needs for the banner. So I already have it set up where we're just going to drag it into a text folder because that's where all our things are. Now what we're going to do is make a new layer and mask it to the text tutorial by holding Alt. Now if we just go here, what we're going to do is add lighting around the edges. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on our brush tool. We're going to size it up a little bit. And we're going to make it white. Make sure airbrush is selected. And let's put the opacity down to about 70%. You can figure out what works best for you. Now what we're going to do is go and just kind of go around it. Now one thing I realized is that there's the grass got a little glitched. This shouldn't happen normally, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix that and then be right back with you. Alright, so I identified the issue and I will make sure to put that in while I'm editing the tutorial so you guys don't do that, but I figured out what the problem was and it's relatively fixed. So we're just going to go back to our layer, go to our brush tool, and just keep going. And one thing, you don't want to make this look super even, and you're also going to be trying to avoid the grass because we're going to do lighting on that layer later. Just because we're going to add an integral later. This is just kind of more uneven and kind of more powerful, I guess. So if you also see light sources throughout your or you want to make like a light source sort of in your banner. So like you can see light is kind of coming from the text on both sides of my character. So this is going to be that light. So once you kind of brush around it with the white airbrush, you're going to switch the blend mode to overlay and just turn the opacity down a little bit. So you want to find kind of a position that looks best for yours, and also if you think it looks a little odd, you can always use a brush or eraser airbrush and sort of go around where you might think it looks a little odd. Then what you're going to do is add an inner glow now to our text tutorial, and you can just copy my settings. So I put the opacity to 35%, it's on screen mode, noise is 0, choke 0, and size 7. Now what we're going to do is make another layer that's masked, and we're going to light up the grass. So what we're going to do is sample a color. We're going to go to our brush tool, sample a color from our grass, maybe make it just a little lighter and size it up. And what we're going to do is go over our grass. Actually, we don't want this to be masked. I'm just going to go like that. Make sure you don't mask it. And go around it. We're actually going to want that to be a lot lighter. And go around it like this. Change the blend mode to overlay and turn the opacity down a little bit. You can play with the size so it looks good. Now we're going to do the same thing with the same color, except we're going to do it on the grass. So we're going to make the size much smaller. And we're just going to go around where the grass is. You don't want to do it too much, but it looks a little good if there's a little bit of a Once you've done that, you just want to change the blend mode to overlay again and turn the opacity a lot down for this. You just want it to be kind of faint. Like that, maybe down actually more. Don't be afraid to zoom out, it always helps to zoom out. Now what we're going to do is add some lighting streaks, and this is what really makes it look awesome. So we're going to make a new mask layer by dragging a layer in there. We're going to make it white, go to our brush tool, and we're going to make the size about this big, and we're going to go like this. Actually, we're going to put the opacity to 100 and size down a little bit, and we're going to go like this. Now, if we put the blend mode to overlay, and then turn the opacity down, you can see that just makes it look awesome. Like, ugh, I cannot get over how cool that looks. Now, for the last little bit, we're just going to light up the mushroom a little bit, because we can't forget about the mushroom. So we're just going to make a new layer. Change the blend mode to overlay, turn it down a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate it again, go to the back layer, filter, blur, motion blur, and we're going to add a motion blur just to give it a little more color. Now, you can go a little bigger than you might want to, because you can always turn the opacity down. So there you are, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, if you don't think it looks perfect, just ask questions in the comments and I'll be sure to get around to them, and I'll try to help you as best as I can. But that's the tutorial, and now you have some cool looking text that looks pretty sweet with the banner. So yeah, like I said, please subscribe, because I spent a lot of time editing this tutorial. So have a great day, bye.